What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within. Now today we are talking about gold making, and we're talking about gold making with enchanting and tailoring. A very interesting kind of shuffle that we're doing today that is printing huge amounts of gold. Now I made a video a couple of days ago, probably been 4 or 5 days ago now, talking about a very good enchanting shuffle using blacksmithing and enchanting. Now that video looked like this, which you might have seen if you saw that video. Then you know what we're doing today as well. We are shuffling green items into storm dust. Now in this video that I'm referencing here, we were making blacksmithing hammers and then disenchanting those for a profit. Now that made anywhere between 40,000 gold per hour and 100,000 gold per hour. When I made the video public, it was 90,000, it went down to 40, it is back up to 70, and then the prices of storm dust crashed. Now the crash of the price of storm dust is exactly why this flip, or this shuffle that I'm talking about today, has actually come into play. So that the price dropping for storm dust made this shuffle a lot worse, because the price of bismuth is still roughly the same, even though it's gone down a bit as well, but not to the same degree as storm dust has, which has fallen in price by about 100%. It is like half price now compared to what it used to be. So this shuffle is way worse because the cost of bismuth is still quite high. Now the price of dust falling and the fall of this shuffle means that another shuffle is rising, and that is tailoring shuffles. So for tailoring, we are focusing on making green equipment in tailoring and disenchanting that. Now you can also make blues if you want to do that as well, so you can make blues and disenchant for the shards, but I do believe the green one is better because storm dust by itself is more valuable. So for example, you are making items like this, weaver cloth chef's hat, the alchemist robes. Just make any of them because they all require the exact same materials, which is 2 storm dusts and also 1 exquisite weaver cloth bolt. Now you obviously want to use a quality 1 here, so quality 1 in both places, because the quality outcome of what you're crafting does not matter at all. You can disenchant a quality 1 tailor's coat, or a quality 2, or even a quality 3. Just make any of these and then disenchant them. Now something you might notice here is that you are spending a bunch of dust when you're doing this shuffle. So you're, for example, spending 2 storm dust to make one of these and hoping to get those dusts back every single time. So you need to spec out your disenchanter as well as much as you can to get quality 3 storm dust, because you'll be spending quality 1s and trying to force out quality 3 outcomes. So this one right here, you just have to compare the cost of making, for example, weaver cloth chef's hat towards blacksmithing hammers and make whatever is the cheapest. And you can also, for example, buy them on the auction house. Sometimes some of these are very cheap. Now the chef's hat was not a good example of that, but maybe the tailor's coat, for example. Sometimes you can get these greens for under 200 gold each, in which case you are likely better to just straight up buy them from the auction house. Now in addition to the 2 storm dust you're using per craft, you're also using an exquisite weaver cloth bolt, which uses another dust as well. So you need to use 3 storm dust for every single item that you make. Now at the moment of the recording this video, we can take a look at the price of storm dust, which is 80 gold each. So you'll be spending at least 240 gold per piece, usually a little bit more because the weaver cloth bolts as well are about 10 gold each or so. So 250, 260 gold per green item versus crafting a blacksmithing hammer. Now once again, this is a kind of shuffle that will go up and down in price, or up and down in value, based on how the value of storm dust goes up and down. Now what will make this shuffle even better in the future is if storm dust quality 3 goes up more in price. So if, for example, quality 3 is worth 10 times as much as quality 1, you can use this shuffle to force quality 1s into quality 3s, because every craft requires 3 storm dust, and you usually get those back when you're disenchanting, because being a maxed out disenchanter, you get more quantities from the spec you're going, and you also get higher qualities, so you can effectively turn quality 1 dust into quality 3 dust over time, and make a bunch of gold. Now we had a couple of people in chat last night. I'm live on Twitch pretty much every single day, by the way. We had a few people trying this out with more success than the blacksmithing one, so I think this shuffle is worth knowing about at least, and especially with the mythic and also mythic plus dungeons, regular mythic dungeons, and the raids coming out, we can see a huge price increase for quality 3 dust, in which case it is worth knowing about this shuffle now and just keeping track of the profitability of the shuffle and revisit the shuffle in about a week. So for example, if you try it right now, today, after watching the video, then just see if it's made profit. If it does, good. If it doesn't, come back to it. Either way, let's talk about the setup and everything behind the shuffle, because now I've talked a lot about the shuffle itself, what we are doing, and like my whole theory behind the shuffle, which I do believe is worth knowing about. So for the setup, you once again want to have a tailor and also an enchanter. Now for the tailor, even though you're crafting gear, you don't have to spec into gear, because what I just said, the quality of the outcome of your crafted item does not matter. You can make a Q1 alchemist robe or a Q5 and it doesn't matter. So all you have to spec into here is that you want to, if you want to, you don't even have to, but if you want to, you can buy more storm dusts and spend like 20 minutes while you're AFK or something weaving exquisite weaver cloth bolts. Just click create all, start weaving and go take a shower, go outside, do literally anything. Leave your PC for 10 minutes and come back, and that doesn't count towards your gold per hour ratio, kind of. You can just make more gold passively by just clicking craft all, then go AFK. So you can actually spec into making bolts to make this whole shuffle better for you, in which case the only specs you really care about here is quality fabric and into weaving and unraveling. This is just so you can make more cloth, you get more resourcefulness while weaving cloth, and you also get more skill while weaving cloth as well. In addition to that, you obviously want to go for less is more for multicraft, and you can also go for extra threads for resourcefulness when you're crafting cloth goods. But multicraft is pretty nice to have, so you get more multicraft for pretty much everything, which is also nice to have, but it's primarily weaving, so you can just make a bunch of these, and obviously you want to have a multi-craft tool as well while doing so, just to get more bolts from your craft. And the more bolts you get, the more quote-unquote free green items you're getting that you can then disenchant. Now, before we talk about the enchanting part of this setup, I also want to let you guys know about two more items to keep a track of when it comes to disenchanting in the future, and that is in leatherworking. So in leatherworking, many of these will probably never be able, be good to disenchant, because this one, for example, requires 100 materials, so 50 leather and also 50 gloom chitin. Now, with the current price of dust, you want to get something for under 300 gold, and then disenchant them, and then usually you should make a profit. So this one, for example, if storm leather is 10 gold, which is more than that now, but for 10 gold it's already 500 gold, so never worth making. That being said, the apothecary's hat requires 20 leather, which is now at the current price 260 gold, and then you have sunless carapace, so it's still 400 gold for this one to make the apothecary hat, but sometimes you can buy them cheap on the auction house. As you can see, it's 249 gold right now, so you can buy those on the auction house and then disenchant those from people that are just skilling up leatherworking and throwing anything they can on the auction house to get some gold back. Now also, the prices of sunless carapace and the leather could go down, so you can get these even cheaper over time. You can also look at steelsmith apron, which is doing 1 hide, for example, so 180 gold, and also 20 gloom chitin, which is 220 gold in total. So all of these cheap leatherworking crafts are definitely worth keeping an eye out for and seeing which ones are worth doing. Now, I would probably say that if one is worth doing or will be worth doing, it is the Hide Seeker's pack, which requires 1 hide and 10 leather. So at the very moment, that is actually not that much gold, it's still about 300 gold, so roughly the same as the tailoring one in price for the Hide Seeker's pack. And this one as well, same thing, you can buy them cheap on the auction house from people skilling up leatherworking and then just throwing these on the auction house for a cheap price. Either way, with that being said, let's take a look at the enchanting table and what you want to have in enchanting as well. Okay, so for enchanting, the build you want to go for is you want to go for designated disenchanter, and then you want to go to the left to get uncommon utilitarian. And setting up an enchanter like this is super simple. All you need is 60 knowledge points, which you get very fast. You can get 24 from treasures, 10 from kedge, now you're on 34, and you can get 20 from going to ephemerals, so you go here for 5 points and 15 points, and then you get a lot of KP back, which you can then spend into, for example, over in designated disenchanter, and that also gives you artisan security, which you can now spend on the artisan security books located located right here. So if you go and talk to this guy, I can currently buy this book, for example, for 10 more points in Enchanting, which I'm currently not going to do, but I could do it right now to get 10 more points. Now, I am setting this guy up to be both green and blue and also epic at some point, to be able to disenchant absolutely everything at the highest quality I can, so I can do every single shuffle at any point. But for this specific shuffle, the only thing you need is 60 KP, 60 knowledge points, so 30 here and then 30 here. You can set this up in less than 1 hour, by the way, from start to finish. Now, the second part, which is just as important, if not even more important, is your skill points. Now, pay attention to me only having 75 here. I am not set up for this yet. I have not been doing this shuffle enough to the point where it's worth going all the way. But if you are going to do this shuffle and you want to make gold from this, you have to have, or you really want to have, 100 skill points in Enchanting. The skill points you have will directly affect the quality of the material that you are getting. And as I just talked about earlier, you are focusing on turning quality 1 dust into quality 3. So over here, 100 skill points necessary. If you try this without 100 skill points and you complain about not getting like 50k per hour and you're like, I only get 10k per hour, well, that's why. So spend gold and cash out and get to 100 points. Alternatively, do it the cheap way, like I'm currently doing myself, which is spending concentration and skilling up slowly over time. I can do 3 enchants like this every 3.5 days, so that is 6 skill points. 6 skill points every 3.5 days, or 12 skill points per week that I get quote-unquote for free, and I even make gold while doing it. So there we go. Now for the tools, these stats don't matter. Nothing really affects Disenchanting, so I would say just grab Resourcefulness or Ingenuity and start using it as a concentration character like I'm doing. That way you can skill up and get gold at the same time, and spend your concentration while also having it as a Disenchanting character. Now, when you go over here, because baseline, this shuffle does not look good because you spend 3 Storm Dust every single time. But when you max this out, for example at 20 out of 30 points, you now have a chance to create more Storm Dust when disenchanting uncommon equipment. And when you have 30 points, your chances of creating additional Storm Dust when disenchanting uncommon equipment are now increased. So you just get more quantities based on the talent points you spend. You also get plus skill in disenchanting here on common equipment, and here as well regular equipment too. So you get more qualities and more quantities, and a higher quality I should say. So higher quality and higher quantities. So you really want to have, once again, 100 skill points, 60 knowledge points spent exactly this way, and that is the entire shuffle. At that point you can start printing gold, and once again the exact gold amount you'll be getting will be going up and down and fluctuating. But pay attention to if quality 3 ever goes up more compared to quality 1, this shuffle will be better, because you're once again focusing on turning quality 1 into quality 3 over time by shuffling. So there we go, that's the video. At this point now we have a epic, rare and uncommon disenchanting shuffle live on this channel in the last 2 weeks. So now we have a shuffle for absolutely every quality of items that can be disenchanted in the War Within, and at the moment I can say they're all looking quite juicy and quite good. The one downside, which isn't really even a downside, is that you want to skill up enchanting before doing anything here, because the skill you have in enchanting really matters for the quality outcome. And that provides a barrier to entry, because skilling up enchanting to 100 skill is expensive, and not everyone can do that, and having a barrier to entry simply adds more profit to whatever you are doing. Like in any goldmaking strategy, any barrier to entry usually secures a certain amount of profitability. Now, if you want to have access to more goldmaking videos and more goldmaking content, check out my War Within Goldmaking Guide, where we have exclusive videos and videos in early access. This one, for example, you had access to a couple of days before it went public, so you could print more gold from this one as well, and many other videos. For example, my War Within investments video was in early access, and a bunch of other videos, almost all of them, you do have access to 1 or 2 days before they go public. It is just my way to give you more value for the support you're already bringing me, and once again, the guide is a great way to support me. So it's a good way to support me as a creator and get value back for it at the same time, and I make it my personal goal to help you make as much gold as possible in this expansion. The link to that guide will be down below, by the way, and that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you again in the next video very soon. Bye bye.